This is episode 7 of Reset Unfiltered with Abby, and today's guest is Sarah Downs.
I am an clinical microbiology and infectious diseases researcher, and I work at Wits Vida under the CHAMPS program, which is Child Health and Mortality Prevention and Surveillance. And basically we look into the causes of child illness and the causes of child death, and we do it in a very comprehensive and granular way. And it sounds like a bit of a morbid thing to be researching. However, the positive thing about it is that we actually get to do something. If we can figure out why children are dying, we can figure out also ways to prevent those deaths.
Yeah, so Sarah was telling me some really interesting stuff about some of the work that she's been doing. And a lot of the stuff I didn't know, like I didn't know how to treat a burn straight off the bat or those type of things. So I wouldn't even think that burns would be in the top 5 things of what kill children.
In South Africa, actually, the biggest cause of trauma admissions to South African hospitals nationwide in children 1 to 4 years old is actually pediatric burns, and most of the time from hot water.
I cannot believe
and
that.
And it's accidents that happen easily in the home.
I can't believe I wouldn't have even guessed. I would think like a disease or something.
Yeah, so when we look at what's caused a death, we look at the underlying cause of death, which is something that contributed to the death but isn't the immediate cause. Then we look at the immediate cause. So what happens with burns is that in children aged 1 to 5 years old, 20% of the underlying cause of death in our catchment area, which is in the south of Johannesburg, in a township there.
What township is that?
Soweto.
Oh, you can say.
Yeah.
Okay. Just the township Soweto. It's like the most famous one in South Africa.
Most famous township casualty. So what we're finding is that 20% of the underlying cause of death is actually pediatric burns, most of the time hot water burns. And then the immediate cause of death is sepsis, which is like an infection that basically...
Which is what I didn't know. I would have never thought that that's what killed you. I thought it was like you got burned so badly you just died. I didn't know it was because you are now at chance of infection.
Yeah, so basically when you get a burn, if you think of a piece of meat like you were saying, you put a piece of meat on the fire. When you take the meat off, it retains some of that heat.
Yes, it carries on cooking.
It carries
like
on cooking.
Hot
Yeah.
plate.
So
hot rock.
It's the same with a burn. So if you can reduce the amount of damage to the layers of skin, you can actually reduce the severity of the burn and reduce the risk of infection thereafter. So the first thing that you should do if there's a burn in the household is you should run it under cold water, cold tap water. Don't add ice or anything like that, just cold tap water for 20 minutes. And if
20 minutes?
20 minutes.
Oh, I'm thinking you just do like a tss.
No, so the best is even 10 minutes is good, but it depends on the severity of the burn, of course.
Yeah.
And then if you don't have a running tap, because a lot of households actually don't, then you can just put it in a jug of cool tap temperature water, and that then stops it from burning deeper and into deeper layers of skin, and then that reduces the risk of those infections happening, because when you damage the layers of skin, your skin actually acts as a barrier against infections getting inside. So once that skin is damaged,
okay, that's very interesting. And what do you like? How long have you been working on this for now?
So this has been something we've been working on for about a year. We've been doing a study in Soweto where we've gone to different households, and we did like a pre-intervention survey, and then we worked with Surgeons for Little Lives who've developed really good education around burns, so how to reduce the risk in the home, how to treat burns immediately. And we've seen that from at the first visit before we gave the education, 29% of households were using the correct first aid.
Okay.
And
which is not good enough.
No,
right?
it's not good enough.
Okay.
And so we've seen an increase to almost 60% of households after our education using the correct first aid.
It's amazing.
And that's actual practice, what actually happened in practice. In terms of knowledge, we've seen a similar trend in terms of knowledge.
Okay.
So what people do and what they know to do are two different things.
Yes,
You
yes,
know,
yeah.
what
Like
actually happens in an
you
emergency.
know that this is what I should do, and you like afterward, you're like, shit, I knew that.
I should have done that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So people are actually putting it into practice.
Yeah.
Okay, that's amazing. Something that you're currently working on. It's not. It's not it's not finished. You're still doing work on it.
Yeah.
And is there something like in your career? Because how long have you been, like a scientist for?
Yeah, so I've been working in I've been a scientist for quite a few years, but
How long?
Probably, I think. Well, I started my science career probably in the year 2000, so what, 25 years.
Amazing.
But the last, I would say, 15 years, my focus has been child health, maternal health, and one of the highlights has been, and this is going to seem a bit selfish, but getting my PhD. Like, I worked hard on it. It was a project I was really proud of.
Yes.
And yeah, I got good results, etc. So I think definitely, and it's funny because it wasn't actually the graduation moment. It was the moment of clicking that submit button.
And being like, oh my
this
God,
is
I
done.
did it.
This is over. I achieved this. Yeah.
What was your PhD on?
So I worked on pneumococcal disease. So we were trying to see, there's a vaccine that's, and this is something that's quite, so I did my PhD on pneumococcal disease, which used to be the biggest infectious cause of death in children. But since the vaccine, I mean, now we've got a really good vaccine that it was actually approved in the year 2000, but we were the first African country to get it in the year 2009. 9 years later, biggest infectious cause of death in children, and most of those deaths were in African countries. So yeah, it just shows like that vaccine inequity, you know, how much of a big effect it has. So basically we wanted to see, this vaccine's extremely expensive. So we wanted to see, has it worked well enough in children that the amount of children carrying it has reduced, and so we can afford, like, there's less risk in doing things like reducing the schedule, so the number of times the vaccine's given to save costs. So we looked at the immunogenicity. Does giving it twice give a good immune response? And we had good results there, showed that there was no difference. It wasn't inferior in any way. We also showed that prevalence of colonization in children under 5 was reduced by 60 to 80% depending on the setting, because we did it in rural and urban settings. So it showed that we could afford to make program changes to the vaccine.
But now this vaccine, you said, has been available since 2009.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you said it was approved in 2000.
Approved in 2000, available in South Africa since 2009.
Oh, available in South Africa in 2009, and now we're in 2025. And what is the difference now?
So I did my study in 2018, 2019, that kind of area. So there's been a 60% reduction in the amount of children carrying the vaccine types. But then also a big part of my PhD was designing a method for detecting all these pneumococcal serotypes. So a serotype is like one bacteria, but it's got different surface characteristics. So there's over 100 serotypes, and your immune system recognizes them as different. And only about 23 of them cause disease. 13 to 15 of them are much more important in children. So those are the ones that the vaccine kind of targets. But they're hard to tell apart.
When do children get this vaccine? Like, does Slade have it?
Yeah, Slade would have had it. So you get it at 6 weeks, 14 weeks, and 9 months. So that's in the 2+1 schedule. So that means 2 primary doses and a booster. But we wanted to see, can we give it at 6 or 14 weeks, and then again at 9 months.
To try and reduce
but he would have had all 3 doses. So now we've actually changed the vaccine product. We used to give PCV13, now we give PCV10. And it sounds like it covers less, but it covers the serotypes that are most important in African countries.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool. That's amazing, Sarah. That's such an achievement. And speaking of vaccines, during COVID, became slightly viral for her vaccine fighting, her internet vaccine fighting against internet trolls. So obviously Sarah's a very knowledgeable scientist, but there are a lot more very knowledgeable own researchers out there that know a lot more, right? Hey, they know a lot more than you do, and like all that you've studied and any institution.
Their Google search trumps, the fact.
Well, imagine there was ChatGPT then. Can you imagine? So tell us what happened during COVID. So Sarah you had a few viral videos on TikTok.
Yeah, I did. I think I did a couple of Facebook posts kind of refuting misinformation. So there were a couple of things that people were believing, and I guess family and friends were reaching out to me to ask me, is this true, is this not true? And then I'd respond to them, and then a couple of people would ask the same question. So I decided to just rather do a Facebook post, and then that started going viral. So like the one had over like 1,000 shares. And it was seen by so many people, and so I needed to kind of separate it a bit from my personal page. So I started a page called Mistress of Science. And then from there, I ended up being on BBC in the UK. I was on CNN, Global Citizen Africa, and a couple of different podcasts and things like that, where I was just basically giving correct information about the COVID virus as well as the vaccine.
And people didn't like that very much.
No, I think a lot of people did like it. A lot of people were very grateful for the correct information and the honest information, because I didn't really have anything to gain. I don't work for the pharma companies or anything like that.
She's a Bill Gates spy.
And then, but obviously the people who are rabidly anti-vaxxer did send a good couple of threats and saying all sorts of nonsense things. But I know what's true and what's not, and I know the facts, etc. So it didn't bother me too much.
You almost like you can't get angry because you're so sure of what the truth is.
Exactly.
So it's kind of like it's like you don't get like super frustrated when you're fighting with someone if you like fully believe that you're right, because you're like, well, you know what, I'm giving you the facts, and you can do with them whatever you want. So,
and I'm sure, how do you feel about that? Because I mean, you are on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, etc. And I think like sometimes the minute someone is on the internet, people feel like they have a right to say whatever they want to them. So how do you deal with it?
When people say whatever they want to me?
Yeah, when people say stuff that's untrue or just are mean for no reason.
I think for me, I'm like, a lot of things I can get over. Like if someone's like, oh, you're ugly, or like I don't know, like whatever. Okay, no one's actually said that before. Or
I got told I need to fix my teeth on one of the TikToks, and I was like, yeah, I know that. So
like some of the things you just like, I know, like someone chewed my kitchen,
that doesn't make
my
what
wig,
I said
my this. I'm like, maybe I didn't look the best that day, or like it's kind of just like, if you're okay. And I think you have to get to a point when you put yourself out there in social media that you are comfortable with yourself. Because like I was saying to Brad, if I'd been in my 20s and done this, I wouldn't have been able to last, because I was so unsure of myself, still doubting myself, still trying to prove myself. Whereas now, like, I actually don't give a shit. Like, how I am is how I am, and the things that I'm like already critical of myself, I've already like said all the worst things to myself that you could say. So it's like, okay, cool, like whatever.
Sorry to diverge a little bit, but you bring up a very interesting thing there about the worst things that people can say you've already said to yourself.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't you hate how like sometimes I say things inside my own head that are so mean to myself.
Yeah.
And if someone spoke to someone in my family like that, I'd be like, don't speak to them like that. Is uncalled for. That is not fair.
Phone the police.
But yet I'll talk to myself like that.
I know. Like sometimes I've said all the worst stuff to myself, like, you're this, you're that, you're not good enough, you're whatever. Brad just like, please be kinder to yourself. And I'm like, I know. And and I'm so like positive and like confident, but I also have a lot of self-doubt.
Yeah.
I think it's just, I don't know, now I'm like, I'm only trying to be better for like with myself and for myself. Like I don't really care about what other people think about me.
Yeah.
In a way, like you do in terms of like how society views you. Like you're obviously not going to go out and be reckless and be completely narcissistic, which sometimes I want to do. But still, I don't care what people think in terms of how I live my life, because I feel like there's so many things that I've done that if I'd listened to someone being like, oh my gosh, but what are people going to think if you buy that Gucci bag? And then I bought it and I'm still happy with it, and like what those people say, it means nothing.
Yeah.
Like, it's my life and I've got one of them, so I might as well just, like, we all, like, at the end of the day, someone's always going to judge you.
Yeah, like, are you paying for my rent?
Yeah.
No, well, then you don't get to have an opinion on how I live in my house.
Yeah, and if you do, like, cool, keep it moving. Like, I think that's something that has really, like, the last 2 years, I've really been like, okay, this is the only person you have to make happy is yourself, number one, and then those people that you really care about, like your family. But, and even then, like, if your family, like, sometimes your family might give you advice that's actually terrible advice for you. Like, you still have to be like, okay, this is how I feel, and this is what's going to make me.
Yeah, you have to live with the consequences.
Yeah, so, I don't know, if you've also had instances where you've, like, had, like, a complete epiphany moment, like, as you get older, where you're like, okay, I'm just going to stop doing this or that, or...
I found, I don't know about you, but I found that once I turned 30, I started to appreciate myself, you know, who I am.
Yeah.
Just, you know, things about myself that in my 20s I just hated everything about
maybe
myself.
we thought that we were going to change, and then when you hit 30, like, this is
I
it.
guess this is it.
This is it, so I better make it work. I better make it work.
Yeah.
But I think that, like, I don't know, maybe it's like giving up the, like, resistance or something. It, like, allows you to be free, and, like, better, like, positive things start happening, and you stop being, like, so, like, oh, my life has to go this way. Be like, okay, it might not go that way, and that's okay. Like, since I turned 30, I've had the best years of my life.
I know, being over 30 is the most amazing thing.
It is, like...
And then, also, I think you've got the people in your life that, you know, all those...
kind
fake
of,
people have kind of fallen away.
Yeah, like friends that you would just go out with, or friends that you would just, like, just to have a drink or whatever. Now it's like, okay, people that you really need.
Yeah. So I think it's also that. I know in science we call, like, a lot of people suffer from imposter syndrome.
Yeah.
So it's like, you think,
specifically women.
a lot more in women, definitely. But it's like this thing of, you think, I'm not good enough to be here, I'm not clever enough. Everyone else,
everyone knows that I'm fake. I'm a fake and a phony.
I'm not actually as clever as them.
I think that about myself constantly.
Yeah.
That's like my biggest thing. I'm like, I'm a fake. I'm a hypocrite. No, like, but then you look back and you're like, actually, like, I'm legit. I've done this for real.
But what I like is when my other, like, colleagues will say to me, like, you know, we'll have that quiet moments in the office where we're kind of, like, venting or whatever, and they'll be like, I don't even know why I'm here. Like, I'm not good at my job.
Why did they hire me?
And then you look at them and you're like, you're so
brilliant.
amazing at your job. You are so good. You are so clever. You just know the right thing to do and all of this, and you think, well, if you feel that way, then...
then we all effed. We all effed.
No, but I mean, it kind of makes you feel like, okay, you also feel like that, so maybe we're not all...
Well, I think it's almost like some people say, it's like you don't know what you don't know. So the more you know, the more you self-deprecate, and the more you like, oh, I'm such an idiot, I don't know this, and then you find out more and you're like, fuck, and I don't know this, and then you're like, I'll never know anything.
They call it Dunning-Kruger syndrome. Like, those people who actually don't know a lot about something, they don't know how much they don't know,
and they're very happy with life,
you know. And my 5-minute Google search, I know everything about vaccines. You don't know how much you don't know.
No, exactly. It's the smarter you get, the more educated you get, the harder I think life gets.
Yeah, you know how much you don't know.
Yeah, and you often feel so overwhelmed, because you're like, there's all these things that I still want to find out, and I'll never have long enough life to figure them all out.
My best is when people say to me things like, so actual situation that happened, someone was like, do you believe in aliens? I was like, I don't have an opinion on it.
Yeah.
And they were like, no, but you're a scientist, so you must know.
Like, what's true, what's false.
That, this, that, and the other, that is proof that there's aliens. And I'm like, I don't have anything to do with that side of science. Like, I study bacteria.
Those are my cousins at the other department of aliens.
Yeah, like, I don't know what stars.
Yeah, I'm not an astrologer.
I don't know what constellation that is. No idea.
That's why I studied to do one specific thing.
Yeah.
That's very much keep to my own lane, so I don't I think like Brad or even his mom will go a bit down like a rabbit hole and be like, oh my gosh, did you see this or whatever. And like I honestly couldn't be bothered. Like if it's a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy theory. What must happen? So then it might be true. How does that affect my life? Like maybe I could be invested in it, but like, okay, cool. Like if there are aliens, and now what? How's my life going to change?
Or they haven't come to me yet. So
Yeah.
I'll be fine.
So it's like a lot of the time, like I think if you're into conspiracy theories or something like that, like it's pure entertainment, surely. Because
But some people are deep in there, and it's like some people have this. They actually just want to believe everyone's out to get them, and I'm like, how do you live your life like that? So suspicious that you think everyone is trying to, you know.
Yeah. Whereas I feel like I'm the complete opposite. I'm like, I live in a complete bubble where I'm just like delusional, and I'm just like, okay, well, if the aliens come, like, unless they're knocking at my front door, I'm not going to know about it.
Yeah.
And that's not great. It's not good. Like, I used to be so always on top of watching the news and this, and then it just got to a point where I just felt like overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Like, you feel like helpless, and you feel like, okay, so now this is going on in whatever, Ukraine or Gaza, or like, okay, global warming. Like, what am I supposed to do? You're just like trying to live your life, make money, survive, and it's really hard for a lot of people to think like. You can't think long term when you're just trying to survive, really.
I get that, but I think also we need to look at things as not trying to solve every cause, but to choose your cause. So, like, for me, like I said earlier, you know, studying the reasons why children are dying is really tough. But there's a lot of different reasons, but we can pick some of the major causes and do something about them. And it's the same as in everyday life, you know, like you can choose, okay, I don't want to be part of the problem when it comes to plastic, so I'm going to recycle.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to choose products that have less plastic. But you can't at the same time solve, you know, the chocolate and coffee source.
Or child soldiers digging lithium or whatever.
Exactly. So you can solve your one thing. So one thing I do in my personal life is I never buy a new phone. I always take a second-hand phone.
Okay, that's interesting.
Because that's the one thing that I'm like, I'm going to stick by.
That's
you
cool.
know, but I just buy whatever chocolate I want, whereas another person might say, I only want ethically sourced chocolate.
Yes.
So, you know, and we can choose our one thing, make a difference, and then add something.
Yeah.
But if you were to think about all the world's problems all at once and try and think what solutions you can bring, you'd melt down. You'd go into your bed and never come out.
Exactly. And that's what I was finding. I was on social media following all these causes that I was like, this is awful. I can't believe this is happening. Especially, like, I think the gender-based violence one in this country is also so hard because it's so on our doorstep, but you just feel like you don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Like, you feel so helpless that all of these women down the road, next door, children are going through this, and you feel so incredibly helpless. Like, what are you supposed to do in a situation like that?
Well, if you find the answer, let me know.
Oh.
I think it's also about like speaking up where we can and all of that, but
education, I guess.
A lot of it is the men have to do more. So when your friend makes that joke in front of you, you say, actually, that's not funny.
Yeah. Or you say that's inappropriate. I will do that. Like, that's inappropriate. Sorry.
Like, so I think that's what we can do is being that person who says,
calls them out.
That joke about whatever, and it goes
towards
a lot of things because we test out our thoughts in a joke.
Yeah.
And then
how
if
far can I
everyone
push this specific person?
Sits around and laughs, then you're like, they have the same opinion.
Yeah.
But whereas if somebody just stands up and says, that's not funny.
Yeah, that wasn't funny.
Yeah.
Well, like, what was funny about that?
Or when someone says something around the bra, dude, your opinion on that is maybe not so great. Maybe you should think about addressing that. Or, you know, I think that's the thing that we can do.
Yeah. It definitely makes it more impactful, though, when it comes from a man.
Yeah.
Like, if Brad says that, like, sometimes I'll be like, it'll be a friend, and I'm like, why didn't you say anything? Like, I'm not saying that he's that person. I'm just saying, like, because it's like, I feel like guys, you just get so used to it. Like, like they don't say anything, or it is just like a joke. So even somebody that would never abuse a woman or make it, or like, is 100% against gender-based violence would not say anything because it's just like a joke around a beer. So like, why would he say something?
Yeah.
Like, obviously that guy would never do that. So why, like, he's obviously joking.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think
It's
I guess it is.
an
It's like,
important time to speak up.
yeah, the only thing you can really do is just educate the men in your life and hope for the best. If you're raising a son, like, I hope to say that he is the guy that says to his friends that, you know, that's actually not cool. Like, guys,
Yeah,
we can't talk
that
about women like that.
He has
Or
a dad who treats his mom right.
Yeah.
And he's got that example.
yeah,
So I guess that's a big thing that we can do, change it for the next generation.
yeah, that's the only thing that I feel like I have in my control at this point. Because I can't stop some
Yeah.
guy going out and abusing a woman. And you can't change how they get punished.
Yeah.
But I think that'll be a problem for the rest of time. Like,
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
It's a
like,
pretty old problem.
yeah. I was actually, I don't know why I thought about this, because I was like, oh, maybe in a country like Sweden that would never happen, but it still happens in countries all over the world. But there was a guest speaker that came to our work, and she was saying how the birth rate has gone down so much in so many countries, and there's every government experiment that they've done, like in a country like Sweden, to basically give people money, or any government experience to encourage women to have children. There's no amount of money, if they decided not to have children, that has made them say yes.
Yeah.
Every single government experiment has failed.
Wow.
In the where women are the most educated, the countries where women are the most educated in the world.
Sure, hey?
Yeah, how interesting is that? There's not any amount of money that the government could have given them for them to have changed their minds. Yeah, crazy, eh?
It kind of makes sense.
It does. It makes a lot of sense.
Because, I mean, like, if I look at it in my field, right, there's a couple of allowances for women, for example, with, like, funding and rating of scientists, etc. You can put in your applications, oh, I took a career gap for children. And whereas, you know, like, you had to have achieved certain things by certain ages, or since your last degree, or whereas there's that allowance.
Yeah.
But at the same time,
You're still left behind.
I mean, you're still left behind because the women who have children can't stay late. They can't work at night, etc.
They can't do a lot of things.
Exactly, and you know, you can never account for that. And so I guess for some women, it's like, I've taken the time to educate myself to a certain level. I'm not actually going to put myself back.
Yeah.
Because, you know, actually these are my goals, and children don't fit into that.
Yeah, well, I'm very happy with my partner,
Yeah.
and we just don't see the point of having children, especially when it's contributing to whatever, I don't know, global warming or whatever the case may be. But I found that so interesting when she said that. She was like, not one single government experiment has worked on educated women.
Yeah, because, like, for me, I think maybe it would make a difference because then I could afford childcare, or, you know. But, yeah, the thought of trying to fit a child into my
Career.
life currently
No,
and career,
it can break
it
you.
seems impossible.
Yeah. It is near impossible.
Yeah, and I mean, I've got colleagues who are doing it, and for some of them it's going well. For some of them, they just have that mom guilt all the time.
Yeah.
You know, and then when they choose to rather take more time at home, then they have work guilt. And no matter which way you slice it, they're dealing with
either way, you
pressure
realize
they
that
put
you
on
have to
themselves.
sacrifice something,
Yeah.
and you can't be selfish. And for selfish people like me, that's really hard.
Yeah,
it is.
like,
When you're a
I would like
narcissist.
to sleep in on a Saturday, thanks.
Not even sleeping in, just, I guess it's just the constant guilt. Like, I don't even mind giving up the sleep, the this, the whatever. It's just not, when you feel like you're not good enough in your job or at home, that's shit. Especially when you've always worked so hard to be good at both.
Yeah.
And you're just like, no, I'm not good enough.
But do you ever give yourself credit for the things that you are doing? Do you ever flip it on its head and say, you know what? I work all day and I do this with my son, and so do you at least celebrate the positives, or do you just feel guilt?
No, I try to. Like, I'll say that to myself, I think, but I think it's also like you hear a lot of negative stuff from people, so you're like if my mom's like, well, you're not be there for Slade, or if Brad's like, oh, but you know, I feel like I'm taking all the childcare or whatever. Like, I'm only gonna dwell on that. I'm not like, I'll be like, okay, I feel like I'm doing enough, but it might not be enough for everyone around you. So then it just then doesn't actually really matter how you feel, because you're like, well, obviously I'm missing something.
Yeah, but maybe from like, you can look at it from two perspectives. You can say, okay, I'm doing this at work, I'm doing this at home, whatever, but then also these people are also doing this.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
if they're asking for help, but then also, do you feel like you can ask for help?
Yeah, I do, and I do ask for help, because I'm like, help. No, I do ask for help. It's just, I think it's hard as well, just time, like the amount of time. But anyway, that's why I've made the decision to move out of corporate, so I can at least try and find some balance, because ultimately I couldn't have 3 jobs.
Yeah.
I mean, I could try, but it's not sustainable.
But you know, the funny thing is that every single parent that I know feels this way.
Yeah. Oh God, that's why you can't
Fine,
pay those
women.
That's why you can't pay those women in Sweden enough.
Yeah.
They're like, fuck this. They're like, screw this.
A life of guilt, no thanks.
She's like, I'm fabulous and I'm going to own it. No, but I do. I do know that I do a lot. I think it's just still not good enough in my head to everyone around me. But that's, I don't know, a story for another day. Is there anything that you can reflect on this year you've been like, flip, I'm really proud of myself?
I think I'm really proud of myself that I was super unhappy in a job that I was in. I really just was like, this is not for me. I'm not enjoying this research. I don't enjoy this at all. And so I jumped ship and changed careers, and not changed careers, but changed who I worked for and went back to what I love.
Yeah.
And I'm really proud that this year I've achieved a lot in that position. And like, I think we've done some really amazing things. We've been focusing on prematurity, which is a massive passion of mine, and we've had some massive wins in that field.
So amazing.
So yeah, I think it's like just being like, okay, I'm doing what I love and what I'm good at, and I'm achieving things, making a difference, and that's, I think, the thing that's been the highlight for me.
Sarah, that's amazing. So if you had to look back a year ago and be like, okay, you know, you would have never known that you were going to do all of that, or the position you'd be in now.
I think I wouldn't quite put it like that. I had, you know, before I left, I said, okay, I'm not enjoying this. I know what I want to be doing. I know where I want to be doing it.
Yeah.
And so the goal is get there.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Nice. That's a vision board.
I suppose.
But you keep it in your mind.
Yeah, you keep it in your mind. You don't have to do it on paper.
Yeah, exactly. No, that's awesome. Well,
like, just conscious effort towards manifesting what you want.
Yeah.